Today's class is entitled Can You See My Tree? Talking about imports into FamilySearch. Our presenter is Carol Hill, excuse me, who has been on a mission assignment with the FamilySearch wiki team. And she has a lot of information and experience in this area. And we look forward to hearing from her. We appreciate her preparation and willingness to share her knowledge with us. We'll now turn the time over to Sister Hill.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that introduction. All right. Well, before I start, I really appreciate this opportunity to share this information with everyone. And thanks so much for taking the time to watch this. And I really hope that I can explain it in a way that will be clear to you so that you'll understand it. So again, the title is, Can You See My Tree? Imports into FamilySearch. Okay, so I've been a FamilySearch support missionary for about 5 months. And so far in my mission, I take phone calls from patrons who are having trouble logging into FamilySearch. And then I also answer questions they may have about the family tree on FamilySearch. And once in a while, a patron will ask, how can I see my tree in FamilySearch? And how come others can make changes to it? I'm sure some of you have those same questions. As we all know, there's opposition in everything. That's one of my favorite verses from the Book of Mormon. So having the one tree where everyone from an experienced genealogist to a beginner making changes can be frustrating. But it's amazing to see how we're all connected and see photos and stories of our ancestors and what else that we didn't know existed. So one thing that I always have to do sometimes when I get questions from the patrons that call in, I have to share how FamilySearch is a shared family tree, which differs from the tree building experience at most other websites. So instead of concentrating efforts on privately constructing their own individual trees, FamilySearch tree builders cooperate to build a single shared tree that helps you and others discover more about ancestors and other family members. So that's kind of what I always have to explain that, because sometimes, like I said, people can be a little bit upset about it. So I try to explain that. But it was interesting because there actually is a way that others can see your tree. So after I was talking to one of the patrons one time and we had hung up, and I thought, oh, you know what? There is a way to have others see your tree and not be able to make changes to it. And this is what we're going to be discussing today. It really, what you do is you import a GEDCOM to genealogies on FamilySearch, so anyone can view your tree, but they can't make changes to it. And once it's uploaded, you can add and see names from your GEDCOM file to the family tree. But being able to add names to FamilySearch from a GEDCOM file makes me and other genealogists nervous. And it makes us nervous mainly because of the duplications it can create. So we're going to talk about this a little bit more later. So first of all, if some of you don't know what a GEDCOM is, I just wanted to go over that really quick. So what is a GEDCOM? It's an acronym for Genealogical Data Communications. So it really is the GEDCOM standards, a data format used to exchange genealogical information between computer programs. So that's what it really is. It's just a way for the genealogy programs to be able to share the information. Most genealogical data management programs can both import, which means you can open, and export a GEDCOM file. For example, AncestryQuest, RootsMagic, and Legacy can import and export GEDCOMs. And you can import a tree to FamilySearch, but you cannot export one. And this just came, I'm just going to be sharing different articles from our Help Center on FamilySearch. And so this is actually an article on our Help Center. And if you haven't ever used our Help Center, you would go to the top right of the page when you're on most of the FamilySearch pages. And there's that little circle with the question mark, and you click on that, and there's a drop down that says help and learning. And so we have so many people working on these articles, and they're doing a great job of explaining everything about FamilySearch. So just wanted you to know that so you know where to go. Okay, so this is where we're going to go today. I first want to tell you little bit of background on FamilySearch, the development of it that you may not know about. Probably a lot of you do, but I'll just go over that a little bit. And then we're going to talk about how do I import a GEDCOM to FamilySearch? Where can I see it? What can I do with it? What can't I do? And then after that, I decided to put this at the end. How do I prepare a GEDCOM? And how to create a GEDCOM from a genealogical database. And I'm just going to show you really quick how to do that from Roots Magic. And then I don't know if you know, but you can actually download a GEDCOM from your Ancestry, Find My Past, My Heritage, and there's probably others. Those I'm just going to show you really quick too. So let's get started. When I heard that FamilySearch was allowing individuals to import GEDCOM files, I thought, no, I was just I just didn't want to believe it. I said they shouldn't be allowing that. The problem is that if individuals aren't careful when adding a file to the tree, it can cause duplication and mistakes to ancestors, which was a really big problem in the past. And it can also cause duplication of temple work. And that's one thing we're trying to avoid. So this is one of my favorite quotes from our prophet, President Gordon B. Hinckley, back in 2005. And I always remember this quote. He says, one of the most troublesome aspects of our temple activity is that as we get more and more temples scattered across the earth, there is duplication of effort and proxy work. People in various nations simultaneously work on the same family lines and come up with the same names. They don't know that those in other areas are doing the same thing. We therefore have been engaged for some time in a very difficult undertaking. To avoid such duplication, the solution lies in complex computer technology. Preliminary indications are that it will work. And if this is so, it'll be a truly remarkable thing with worldwide implications. And I thought this was interesting that he said this 18 years ago. And you can even see then he was worried about duplications then. So, and the problem he was describing was during this time when ordinances were completed, they were added to a CD. Do you remember the compact disc? And those CDs used to be mailed to the family history centers. And I believe we used to get those every few months. It could have even been 6 months or a year. I can't remember exactly. It's been a long time. But so you can see what President Hinckley was talking about, that someone could be doing ordinances on the same person and you wouldn't know for, a couple of months later. So there was lots and lots of duplication at that time. So in 2009, so that was like 4 years later, after that quote, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints launched a collaborative tree known as New FamilySearch. It was the precursor to the current FamilySearch tree and was only available to church members at that time. And many of you probably remember that logo. I had to search a little, but I remember that logo from 2009. This was a great improvement. And the ordinances were available. I think it was in a couple weeks or so. It definitely was so much faster than the waiting for the CDs to come. But the big problem was members were allowed to import their genealogies. So as members added their GEDCOMs, not all the information contained the exact same details on each of the ancestors they were adding. So the computer didn't know it was the same person. So I remember seeing so many ancestors who had temple ordinance work done like 12 times or more. I remember that's, and it was frustrating to people. So we really weren't finding new names to take to the temple. There were just a lot of duplicates. This especially was true if you had Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint pioneer ancestors. I know a lot of those, the work was redone several times. So it was a duplicate nightmare. So, but we've come a long way, I feel like, with Family Search that we have now. Some of the pluses of it is that you can merge duplicate ancestors. You can attach sources from Family Search or any other website. So we're really able to help those that are looking at the ancestors see that they have good information. I love that Family Search has record hints, which usually are pretty good. So because they're trying to get us to put records on and attach to our ancestors in Family Search. I love that you can add photos, you can add stories. The ordinances, when you do an ordinance, sometimes it's completed or you can see it that same day, sometimes a day or two. You can go and help others, go in and help them. And then what's really neat is anyone in the whole world can create an account, not just members of the church now. So I do answer calls from individuals who aren't members of the church, and they tell me how much being able to do their family history for free has blessed their lives. They are so grateful. I tell you, they just make me cry. One man told me that he didn't know why he liked it so much, even though we do. Friday, even just this past Friday, a woman was so grateful for the little help I gave her. So it's really blessing so many lives all over the world. And so I feel like the quote that I read earlier by President Gordon B. Hinckley, he's saying how to avoid duplication, that it would lies in the complex computer technology. I just think it's amazing how he spoke about that and how we're really seeing that in our day, even though we know there's a few problems. So anyway, that's just the background of how we've come to Family Search now. Okay, so let's get into the nitty gritty. So how to upload a GEDCOM to Family Search. So on Family Search, up at the top, you'll see the Family Search logo, Family Tree Search, Memories. Most of you, if you're familiar with Family Search. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the search, and then you're going to click on genealogies. And then you're going to scroll to the bottom of the page that you come to, and you will get to this screen. It says, how is Family Search Genealogies different from Family Search Family Tree? Genealogies is a database of tens of thousands of personal family trees, lineages, and other histories. The Family Search Family Tree, by comparison, is a single tree or lineage for the entire human family. And then what you're going to do next is you're going to just click on upload your individual tree. And then you'll come to this screen and you will just click the upload GEDCOM file. So what this does is it will actually, this is like coming from my computer, this screen, if you're used to uploading files, this will come up and you can choose the file. You can also, what I would suggest is you name your tree so it makes it easy to identify. And then also just do a brief description, which I think this would be so great, especially, as we're all aging. If something happens to us, it'd be great to have a way to preserve our genealogy with all the work and research that we've done on those. So my suggestion, if you have a hard time finding when you download your file, which I'll show towards the end, make sure to save it to your desktop or in your downloads folder, which is where I usually like to. And then this is like the, extension will be .ged. So when you do a GEDCOM, you'll name it and then put it'll actually just add .ged. You don't have to do that, but that's just the format that that's in. And so then this shows that I'm going to choose the file and I'm just choosing downloads. And then there's my carolshill.ged. And then you just put upload. It's not too hard. And so then this will drop down underneath that back. Anyway, we'll go over this at the end too, exactly how to get back to this. But what happens is this will be your uploaded trees. And so you can have, I don't even know if there's a limit on that, but you can have, as I think, a lot of trees. I won't say a limit. I'll look that up. But what happens at first when you do upload it, it'll have this processing. And then once it's done processing, you can do compare. And then once that's done, you can just do the view. which we'll do in a few minutes. So uploads can take up to 30 minutes, they've said, sometimes longer, depending on the file size. As you can see, I just have, oh, there's more than that. So that's not exactly right. But once it's uploaded, all FamilySearch users can search and view the information on it. So let's go ahead. And then you can also just view it. This is the little download button, and then the delete, which is over here. So you can always, say you upload one and then you make a lot of changes. You could delete it and upload another one whenever you want to. So it's nice you've got that. You can do that when you need to. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do this part first. Where can I see my tree? So uploaded GEDCOMs are found in the genealogy collection called Pedigree Resource File. So the Pedigree Resource File, or PRF, is a collection of user-submitted genealogies that users uploaded to FamilySearch as GEDCOM files. And I found one that I had uploaded in 1999. So they've been around for a long time when they started uploading Pedigree Resource Files. I don't know exactly when that started, but there's some old ones. So you can both search this information and contribute to it, but you cannot edit your PRF files, but you can delete it, like I said before. So let's go ahead and I can show you how we're going to find that Pedigree Resource File now.
Carol,
so you're gonna,
there's a great question. Are living people in the uploaded tree viewable by anyone?
I'm glad you said that. I'm going to get to that too. But yeah, no, you can see the living on, if I'm not signed in, I can't see my living. If I sign in, I can see it. But I tried it with my husband's and he can't see my living. So you yourself can, but nobody else can. So that's a good question.
In the GEDCOM file that you're uploading in genealogies, there's
right. Mm-hmm.
It still block the living, huh?
Yeah, well, and like I said, but you can sign in and see yours, but yeah, they block the living.
Okay.
I was a little nervous because I looked at mine and I saw that in my notes, I kind of had some personal stuff. I thought, oops, I better. So yeah, it does block the living in those. So that's a good question. Okay. Good to go? Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and we'll just go back to search genealogies. And then just remember, you'll need to remember the name of your file, or if you're sharing this with someone, you'll want to make sure and tell them the name of your file so they'll get to the right one. Because like I said, there's a lot of genealogies. So I would make sure and share the name of your file, and then you probably need to give them a name for them to look at too in that, in your genealogy. Oh, and I just said right there, you can see living individuals in your GEDCOM, but no one else can. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead. I really want to go live on this, just because it's hard to go do searches, so let's see if we can go live. Probably have to pull my screen over. All right. Can you see my screen still?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here we are on FamilySearch, and this is the genealogies. And so there's a couple of ways you can find your Pedigree Resource File. So I'll just go through both of those and you can see which way you like to find it. So I'm going to go ahead and put in this search right here. So you can just search right here. And then there's we'll go over some of these in just a sec. Okay, so I'm going to search for my grandmother. She was named Bessie Register. It's nice it's not a common name. So I don't even have to put in her birth year. And so right here, do you see this? You've got more options. And so you can come down here to collection. And right here, it's a few steps. So you might like the other way better. So you can come here and then go to Pedigree Resource File. And because, you can actually search all of them too. You might want to do that, especially if you're looking for different information, but this is just how you could find yours. So then you click search. It's a little bit clunky, might be nice to, and so I don't know why. I don't think because there's not very many Bessie Beatrice Register, but mine comes up there. So there mine is. It just says Pedigree Resource File with my file name. And so I can just go ahead and click on her name. And then this shows, you know, it looks exactly like FamilySearch, right? You've got the pedigree. You can look, you know, that's my grandma and my grandpa, and then the children. My mom, oh, I don't have my living uncle in there, so that won't show up. But as you can see, I'm not signed in. Do you see that at the top? If I was signed in, then I could see myself and all my siblings, but I'm not right now. So anyway, and then you can, you know, it's just like FamilySearch. You can expand it and move it around. The only options really here are you can turn off the portraits and the marriages if you don't want to see that. And then you can also invert the colors. So that's really, it's not like you can't do a fan chart or anything like that. So that's pretty much the options. But then over here on the right is more information on her. And so what's really nice about that, I think we said before about the pedigree resource file, is that it will keep sources and the notes. So this just has her father and mother, you know, my grandfather again, and then these are just some of the notes that I had. I did a little interview with my mom and my uncle, and then here's the sources too. I didn't do a lot of sources on her. I worked on other ancestors. I knew more about her, but anyway, then it does keep the sources there too. And then if you want to, and then let me just show you, you can, before I click on that other, you can go ahead and, you know, go to someone else. Like I can go to my great-grandfather. And then if I come down here, I was just going to show you, and there's his notes. So I think this is great. People could come in and look at all your notes. And if you just want to see your whole, all my whole personal database, you can do this search in this submission. And then this will just bring up my whole, you know, everybody in my file. So you can see everybody has, I mean, it has my, the name of my file right there. So are there any questions? Well, let me go one other way. I'm going to go back to this, this screen here. So there's another way too that you can get to it, which might be faster. These are just the different trees, which I'm not going over these today, but you may want to look at some of these. FamilySearch seems to be adding more and more all the time. So right here is the pedigree resource file too. And I can go ahead and view all the trees in this collection. And then up here in the keyword search, I already typed it in before, I can just put my name, the name of my file, and click search. Okay, and so then I get to it right here, but then it comes here and I still have to do a search. So that's what I'm saying. If you were going to share this with somebody, they will still need to search for a deceased ancestor. So I can do that and then it'll come up again. So any questions on that?
There are.
Which way do you like better?
There are a bunch of questions.
Okay.
When you create a GEDCOM, do the records and photos get uploaded to it or just the pedigree information?
Yeah, it's just the pedigree information. It's just what I was showing you. Let me go to that again. All it is this pedigree, you know, but then it's also, it's just, this is all it is over here on the right. That's all that it is.
And can you transfer new information in your GEDCOM to the shared family tree?
Oh, yes, that's what we're going to talk about next. So you led right into it.
Awesome. There's also a question in the Q&A. Are you going to be able to speak to the group? Only putting questions in the Q&A and chat. Our format doesn't allow for all the attendees to be able to speak.
Okay, yeah, and that's great. Is there anything else in the chat before I move on from here?
That's it. We're good.
Okay, yeah, we're going to get to the adding. That's the part I think that's a little tricky. And so, I mean, it's good to watch and look at that. Okay, all right. Great, good questions. I'm glad you just led into that. All right, let's see. I need to, where am I? Whoops. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. So just a couple things on the pedigree resource file before we leave that. You can search and view all the files that are in the pedigree resource file, which is really nice because maybe there's even back in time someone that's was really good at research and has some information that, you know, has been changed in FamilySearch. So if you find that and can add it, then that would be great. You can contribute your own file to it, and this is preserved for free. You can't edit it. One thing I was going to say, yeah, and you can delete a file you submitted. So I think that's nice too, because maybe I just want to I definitely have to redo some things after I've done this on my file that I put up. I need to change some things, so I need to submit it again. So it's nice you can delete it. The people are linked into families and lineages. You can find names, family relationships, and information about life events. The file includes all records, notes, and sources from the original submissions. Information about living people are not available unless it's your own. You can compare the information in your file to Family Tree and copy information from your GEDCOM file. So we are going to go over that. So FamilySearch really encourages us to upload our GEDCOMs to pedigree resource file. They really would like to have the GEDCOM files there. So this actually comes also from a FamilySearch article in the help section. All right, so how do I copy information from my GEDCOM file into the tree? After you upload a GEDCOM file to the pedigree resource file, you can copy the information into Family Tree. When you copy this information, however, you could inadvertently create duplicate records. You could also add information to Family Tree that is incorrect or erase information another user contributed. Rather than copying all the information in Family Tree at once, please consider transferring the information manually, entering only the dates and facts you know are correct. If you choose to proceed, keep in mind that notes, sources, multimedia links, and information about living people do not automatically copy to the Family Tree. So that's also from a FamilySearch help article. Okay, so to get back to your GEDCOM, the one that I showed before, not on the pedigree resource file, but the other one, what you're going to do is you're going to go to search. We're using this search in genealogy, so we should be really good at this. And then you're going to go to upload your individual tree. Okay, so this is my tree. Remember, I was doing the Carol S. Hill. So we're going to go ahead and view this now. And I'm just doing this with screenshots. If we need to do this live, I can come back and do it too as well. So what you will see up here on the left-hand side is the name of my, my file. There's 2,389 individuals in my tree. There's potential matches, which we're going to go over. Adding to Family Tree 820, that makes me nervous, and we're going to go over that. Already in Family Tree 1,100, invalid and living 358. Oh, so here's just a little bit closer screenshot. Just got a little blurry. So that's what is divided up with this 2,000. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. Let me show you potential matches. Okay, what they feel like is a potential match. And this is really similar to the feature in Family Tree, the merge feature. So here we are. This on the left-hand side is the GEDCOM person. And all I've done is just select one of these over on the left is all I've done. Just a second, let me get working. So the left side's the GEDCOM person, the right side's the potential person. Okay, and then there's, as you can see, I've got a better birth date here, and over here, the birth date, isn't as good. So anyway, and then this is just coming down the page that shows the rest of it. That makes sense. Okay, so let me just go back to this. So I can decide if it's not a match, or if it is a match, I would just put the yes. And I just was showing this over here. So, but not a match will allow you to add the person to FamilySearch. However, remember, you need to manually check to see if there's already a match. And I'll be showing you this in a minute. So you just click the yes, and then as you can see, there's the replace, just like on a merge. And so I like this part that you can actually just go ahead and replace it. I mean, I don't have this in a good standardized format, which I still need to do, but you can actually just add that and it'll replace it. And then you'll want to make sure and click the save. So it'll save it. So this only adds information to the individual. It doesn't add parents, children, or spouses like, the merge feature does. So that's the only thing that it will do. And it is nice that I can undo it if I need to, if I don't want to do it. Okay, so I wanted to show you before and after. So on the left-hand side is the before. Remember, it said the birth was 1834. So when I clicked that replace, see how it replaced it. On the right is what is there now. And then the death, I replaced that. And then also her date pops up to underneath her name. So that's what happened when I with the potential match. So, and then if I want to restore that change, say I find out later that wasn't a good idea, I can go to her birth on her, and then how there's the little pencil to edit. I can click on that, and then you can see all changes down there at the bottom. If I click on that, then this will come up and I can restore it. So I can restore that if I want to go back. Just wanted you to see that so that you can see how that works. Okay. All right, so this is the part, add to family tree, which this part I really feel like you really do need to family search to make sure that the person's not there before you just add them to the tree. So it works the same way as the other one. And as you can see up here, you'll see add to family tree, and there's always the blue plus, and then over here too. So what I did was I picked this first person, Catherine Louise Kappas Olson. And it didn't find her in family tree. And I just thought, oh, I bet she's in there. So I went and searched and I found the Catherine Louise, I don't know how to say that last name. But so as you can see, I had Olson as her surname. And so I guess that's why families, why the program didn't find her, because the birth dates are the same. And I looked at everything else and it is the same, but it didn't actually find her. So, but I thought I would just do a little test because I wanted to see what happened if I did add her. So I added her. And so once I added her, it'll pop up that it's added to family tree now. And it's not it's not this one anymore. Okay, so what I was really glad about is that family tree immediately located a possible duplicate, which was the other one that I showed you. So I was really glad that family tree, that the search system is really robust and it does find it. So I was glad for that. And then it did add a marriage. So this is one of my great uncles, Carl Frederick Scher. He was already matched with family tree in my Roots Magic file. So when I added Catherine, the wrong Catherine from the uploaded GEDCOM, it added her marriage to the correct Carl though in the family tree. I was excited that it did add the marriage, but so it's something that I can clean up. But as you can see, this is the one I added and there's the marriage. And then this is the one that's actually there. So I can either merge her with the right, with the two Catherines, or I can go ahead and delete the one I added. Okay, but interesting. So on the notes on her, there was this line 237030 from GEDCOM file, not recognizable. And that was actually from an earlier GEDCOM file that had been merged. So that wasn't the one that I had done. But then you can also see, on the person, you can see latest changes. But one thing I thought was interesting, that in the latest changes, it actually had the event her LDS sealing of parents, endowment, and baptism. And I thought that was interesting. We have, with the support mission I do, we have a lot of missing ordinances on the tree sometime. And so we'll have individuals call and we can send that to another department to make sure that we get those missing ordinances. And I thought this was interesting because right here I have her ordinances, which if those were missing, I'd be able to share those with them because sometimes that they can look through it. But if we know the date, that's always nice. So a mission leader said she sometimes uses this feature if she's created a tree on Ancestry for someone she's helping who doesn't really have ancestors in the tree, and then she'll download the GEDCOM and add them. But I'm going to show this a little later too. So, so on this too, I went ahead of myself. I cannot go in and undo this, the latest changes on this. I thought I'd be able to undo it, but I can't do that. And then just a quick note, FamilySearch does not encourage people to use GEDCOM files just to add ancestors. You will still need to go back in and put in good sources and good notes. As you see from this example, it can create duplicates as well. So I wanted to just go through that so you can kind of see how that works with adding. So my advice still is to really, well, I was going to show you this suggestion for using the add feature. This is what I think would work. Okay, what I would do is I would bring up the person, then go see if you can find them in FamilySearch, with the find feature. And then when you find them, because this is definitely the same person, then what I would do is try to either, have a split your screen. This one I just had split my screen, or try to have two screens, and then you can go back and forth and make sure that, not just go ahead and add a person from the GEDCOM file, because you really don't want to add people. Okay, and then and what you can do is you can just like skip them. You don't have to, even though you've got this plus here, you don't have to add them. You can just skip it. So don't be tempted, I guess, to add. So then I could just go ahead and go to my next one. And then at the bottom, you can actually just go to different pages. So you don't have to, so they only have so many on one page and then go to the next page. So please don't add me if I'm already in the tree. Okay. Okay, so this is the already in family tree. So I've picked a person here. So same kind of thing that we've done. And this is already matched up, and I can look and make sure it looks good, and it does look really good to me. And then I can still go, if I feel like my information is better, then I can go ahead and replace the information on the other side. And then I can save it up there. I'm not going to go over this because it's pretty much, all the same. Okay, so the last one is invalid and living. So the number of people in your file that the system identifies as invalid or living that's 358 for mine, and you cannot add these people to the tree. So these are people who don't have enough information or who are considered living. So this is a Jessie S. Matthias. She doesn't have a birth or death date, so the system can't decide whether she's living or dead. So that's why she's invalid. There is enough information. And this is a Leon McNeil. Leon was born in 1927, and since there's no death date, he's considered living. So he's, the person's currently living. And I thought this was actually kind of nice because I thought I haven't gone through this file in a while. Maybe I can find his death date at this point. Might be dead. So anyway, that's just the invalid and living. And then as you are, merging or making changes, these numbers will go up and down depending on what changes you've made. So here's just a little quick, what can I do? You can look at potential matches of your ancestors to those in FamilySearch and add information you believe is more correct. Or if you select not a match and add them to FamilySearch, you can add them after you carefully look for matches manually. The Add to Family Tree feature on an ancestor isn't there. Be careful to look manually for matches before doing this, and then add information to ancestors already in Family Tree. I think that's great because you may have better information, just kind of an easy way. The thing you can't do is add sources or notes to a person in Family Tree, and you can't make changes to that GEDCOM at all. So are there any questions that pertain to this part? That's probably.
I think we've been handling them as we've been going.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, great. All right. So that's pretty much all about, how you can add information to the tree from your GEDCOM file. Okay, so this part, I just put it at the end because I was thinking maybe most everyone here has prepared a GEDCOM. So how do I prepare a GEDCOM? Review the information in your GEDCOM file, check for errors with tools in your record manager. Make sure the names, dates, and places display in a standard way. And as you can see, I wasn't a very good example. Mine, I need to really go in and make mine better. Make sure your notes are ready to share publicly. That's really important, especially on the ancestors. Check for possible problems. Check for duplicate individuals in your database, and then check for unattached individuals. Also examine the information you want to submit for anything you don't want to publish. Look through the notes and other unstructured information, mark information you don't want to publish as confidential or just delete it, then create the GEDCOM. Our processes, this is right from FamilySearch, our processes scan your file to identify people in your tree who could still be living. Living records do not display in the pedigree resource file. So when you create your GEDCOM file, if you don't know how, see the instructions that come with your program. And I'm going to just show you quickly, Roots Magic. And then number 2, if you plan to copy the information to Family Tree, we recommend that you submit small GEDCOM files of no more than 100 names. And after the upload, smaller files make the compare and copy process easier to manage. If you intend to simply preserve and share your file, it can contain up to 100 megabytes. So it's pretty large. I'll show you this. And all this information came from the FamilySearch help too. It's nice to know exactly how we should do it. So, but when I read that about, to try to create a smaller file, I was concerned about how many individuals I could just add to the family tree with my larger file. So I created this smaller file that only had 55 people in it. And it still said that I could add those same. So it's hard to know. I just thought, well, okay, let's try that. But it still said I could add those same people to the tree. I was hoping it would find them in the tree. So anyway, that's just my experience with that, making it a little bit smaller. And then as far as, on the other page, it said that you can upload up to 100 megabytes. So I know I don't have a lot of people. I know some of you may have thousands, but I've got 2,300, but you can see it's only 2.1 megabyte. So 100 megabyte, you could put a pretty big tree on here. So anyway, I just wanted to just kind of see what that would look like if you did a really large tree. But I feel like when I did this one, it didn't take too long. It really didn't take that long for it to be ready to view. It maybe like 5 minutes. It really wasn't too bad.
So there's a question.
Okay.
Why should I add a GEDCOM tree to FamilySearch? What's the primary reason? Seems like a lot of extra work.
Does she mean or who is I think mainly because if you don't, I know what you're saying, because Roots Magic and some of these other programs have ways you compare and share, right? Mm-hmm. So the main thing I think about as far as adding it and putting it on the pedigree resource file, I just think as I pass away, that's just something that will be there. And, because people can make changes in FamilySearch. So I feel like that's just will keep my file safe and preserve it. And it's and I was even thinking, and I have this on another slide, that I'm going to put in my file, like in my brief life history, and I might even add it to some of my some notes, or actually to discussions in some of my ancestors, just because then people could go and look at it. When I'm gone, people could go and look at it. I think that's the main reason. And I really think that's the reason why FamilySearch wants those two, to preserve that, because they know that it's a one tree and people can make changes. So does that answer that?
I think so. I see a lot of older people who have done a lot of work with GEDCOM. They have, and it's their personal thing. They're used to using it, and
Right.
it's a nice way to compare what's already in the tree. I can see that.
Yeah.
Having to go one by one.
Yeah, it is like, it's clunky, but on the one where it was, I think just the ad is the only thing I'm just more nervous about, because I don't want to add duplicates. But, to compare just the ones that already found them, then you can put some information in, or just, I think there's some value too I mean, it's not just quick, but I would rather make it correct than quick, right? I'd rather, because I really feel like with FamilySearch, the more sources, the more things that we can add, that hopefully, people will see that and not make so many changes, so there's some new things too. So, Kay, was that?
Yeah, there's one more question, and you might,
Okay.
but this person says, I'm changing from Legacy to Roots Magic. I've created the GEDCOM 4 different times, but it continues to miss over 200 people. Any suggestions?
I don't know on that. I would just reach out to Legacy, because that's what I would do. Yeah, I haven't used Legacy. I should. I like that one too. So yeah, I would just reach out to them, to the program.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that is interesting that it misses some. Doesn't like those people? No, I don't know. Okay, anything else?
Nope, that's good for now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now just really quick, I just was going to show you a little bit how to do, export a GEDCOM from Roots Magic. And so you would just go to the file, see that right there, the file, and then just go to export down there. Okay, and the next screen that pops up is this screen. And you can actually, what I did when I did the one, I just did everybody. And then click OK and save it to your computer. And again, it'll be in that .ged format. So that's how you'll recognize it. And then to create a smaller GEDCOM, what I did for that one, that was the 55, just because I wanted to test that out to see if FamilySearch would, recognize it, or not have that add to FamilySearch. You can just select from the list. And then this will pop up, and this just brings up everybody from my file. And then I can just go through, scroll down, and click the ones that I want in the GEDCOM. So, but like we were talking about, Roots Magic does have a feature that can compare your file with FamilySearch and add source and notes. And so, that's a good way to go if you have maybe Roots Magic or some of the others. And I just like to, when I'm trying to learn how to do something, you can usually search for a YouTube video. They help me in everything I do. So, but just search for that, Roots Magic, and you'll find it'll go step by step how to do that. So let's just, I wanted to show you on Ancestry. So you're going to go on Ancestry to your trees. And there's the name of my tree, one of them. And then you just would go to tree settings. And when you come to the settings, you just export your tree right there. So it's really easy to do. And then I know they also have I've made some videos on how to compare FamilySearch with the Ancestry, and add sources too. So you can search for YouTube videos on that too if you want to do it that way. But there is a way to export your tree, and then you can upload it to other places, which is really, really nice. Okay, so that's Ancestry. This is Find My Past. And so here you just go to your tree, and then you see over there, there's just, that's the little download. So that'll download the GEDCOM. And then the last one is My Heritage. And so same thing, you just go to manage your trees, manage family trees, and then export the GEDCOM. Okay, so super easy to do those. Okay, so a couple of things to keep in mind. If you have a GEDCOM file, FamilySearch urges you to import it to FamilySearch. That can be saved in the pedigree resource file. I know we talked about that. And I talked about adding a link or the file name in your brief life history or in some of your ancestors. And then I don't know if you know, they just did this recently. So if you add a discussion now, you are the only one that can delete that discussion, but anybody can delete notes. So you could put the name of your file in a discussion too on ancestors. So just something to be aware of. And then, yeah, I just think it's great that they've made it that no one else can delete those now. So, and then number 2, when comparing your GEDCOM file, remember to check the family tree before you add any individuals. There's a good chance they're already there. You can export your GEDCOM from a genealogy program on your computer, like Roots Magic that we showed, and download a GEDCOM from a genealogy website like Ancestry, Find My Past, etc.